Well, good afternoon. I think it's officially afternoon now. I have 12 o'clock on this, what do we say, Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday, July 26th. Oh my goodness, these days sometimes I just cannot remember. But thankfully I have technology to help me. So, yeah, Wednesday, July 26th. This is Pickup Lines Live, once again with your humble host, Ernie Zuniga here. And I have another exciting guest to visit with today, somebody that I've known for a long time, and I think you're going to recognize this person, and I think we're going to, well, I know we're going to laugh. I think we're going to have a really good time, and so we're waiting for him, I'm going to tell you it's him, to make his way to the vehicle. So we're at an undisclosed location in downtown San Antonio right now, and so this is a Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. Gamez lost fights. They've been doing it for 50 years. They're celebrating 50 years in 2023. So a salute to Mr. Joe Gamez, his wife Carmen, and their fantastic family. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring him in because he's a very busy man. And I had to go through his publicist twice just to get him in. Cleto Rodriguez is on the program.
This is nice.
Welcome in.
How you doing, sir?
To Pickup Lines. We're good. I was just going to talk about my sponsor. You know what it's like to have sponsors
Oh, yes,
for the program.
I do.
And we get cool little swag sometimes from, this is Texas Grounds Coffee Company in Hello.
Nice, very nice.
And they said this is, they hooked me up and said that their most popular coffee that they sell is the Republic.
Yeah.
If you detect a note of coffee in the car, that's what this is.
Nice car, by the way.
Thank you. Right, it's a rental, but I got to take it back at 1 o'clock. So, no, but... Pickup 23 is the promo code. If you go online to texasgroundscoffee.com, use the promo code Pickup, the number 23, save some money on your coffee purchase.
Is this the same spot that Monica Taylor was sitting in?
Well, technically, I was in a different car. I was in another
okay.
car.
Right.
Chief Hood sat there last week. Fire
nice.
Chief Charles Hood. So, local comedian, man of many talents, Cleto Rodriguez is here, and you know you've made it when you've got your own swag.
You know what, I do have, and I got to thank my sponsor,
Sure.
Alamo Tees Apparel for the Days of All over there, and yeah, they hooked me up with this, my gear, my merch.
Very cool.
Got some new hats and shirts and new logo, so I'm very excited.
Okay, so this is when we come on and ask all of you to share the video on Facebook. Some of you getting settled in right now. We'll be with you for about 30 minutes here, maybe taking you through your lunch hour. But we ask that you share this. Just click share at the bottom of the screen there, and we can expand the audience and let a lot of people wanting to know what you've been up to or where they can see you perform.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. I mean, you're still doing the comedy.
Yes, still doing
comedy. And if people follow you on social media, they can see that you're still very active and busy with the comedy.
And very alive, folks. I mean,
and you're alive.
Very alive. I've been getting a lot of that lately. You know, I've been in HEB and just roaming around, and I'm like, Cleto, you're alive. You made it. You're like, okay. You know, so they have no clue that I'm still here. So
what is it? The stories of your was it your departure or your death are greatly exaggerated?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy how a lot of folks just kind of. I mean, again, I thank you to everybody that prayed for me when I was in the hospital, but you know, it's just awesome. It was just interesting how that came about. You know, just so many different people just coming to you. You don't really realize how many people you affected with what you did. You know, what you do, and it was interesting just to kind of witness that, and people came around. So I mean, and now it's like, but we never really did a follow up on our station at the time, so it was real quick. Like, oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
here we go.
That's kind of that happened. So for people who may not know, you're referring to back during the pandemic, and
that's right.
I listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. We've talked a little bit about this, but I don't know that I told you. When you were in the hospital, and I would hear bits and pieces from people, secondhand information. How's he doing? People would ask me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there were a couple of times when I thought this was not going to end well, and I really felt I was scared for you and your family.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what you were going through.
Yeah, it was the scariest thing, the scariest time of my life, and hands down. And you talk about, I'm a pretty spiritual person, and you want to know how spiritual you really are. Go through something like that. You find out really quick how spiritual you really are, because on paper and everything, I sing songs. I knew scripture. I was going to church daily on Sundays and all that stuff. But if there's no relationship here, that doesn't matter. I mean, you're like leaning on man to try to. I mean, I had no I don't want to say, I mean, my faith was there, but it was like, you're so, I mean, you're talking about, you can meet your maker in a minute, in any minute. And it was just, that was what, and you're looking at the doctors' faces, and God bless them, but they have no clue what's going on.
Such a crazy time.
And it was a crazy time, and you got people crying in the hallway, losing their family.
Well, you
members.
lost your father-in-law, didn't you?
I lost my father-in-law. He was just, that was the roughest part for me, because he was 2 doors down.
Literally.
And I couldn't check on him. I couldn't, and he had Alzheimer's, and I was just like, the only thing I had was my nurses checking on him and giving back to me.
Oh my gosh.
And it was, unfortunately, he passed, and it was so hard on my wife that time. But for the most part, the CEO of the hospital was nice enough to let my in-laws go in and say goodbye, and that was very hard, but very touching, and very appreciated too. But yeah, and a lot of people had me. You're not the only one. A lot of people thought I was a goner, honestly, because I mean, you're looking at a walking miracle. And I remember Yami was telling me this. She said, Yedhin, and she said that she overheard one of the doctors telling her that, that Cleto, he's a walking miracle. He shouldn't be alive right now.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, I didn't mean to get morbid and everything, but I just think back on, that crazy time, and it was just a shared experience for so many people. And here, I mean, you've made a career out of making people laugh and everything, but this is about as least funny a moment as you can think of.
I forgot I was a comedian probably for the first 4 days I was in ICU, because none of that mattered. Yeah. It was all about trying to stay alive for your family, trying to stay alive, just to, period, just stay alive. And it was, you had this deep, I mean, I was so fatigued. I had this mask over my face, and it was interesting because for the third day, I remember I had been the lady was like, Mr. Rodriguez, we're going to put these antibodies in you. Is that okay? I'm like, lady, you could put crack cocaine in me right now. I don't care. Just get me the heck out of Dodge. You know what I mean? And you're just willing to try anything to get out of there, to get well.
Yeah.
And nobody knows pretty much, I mean, everybody's body, I found out through the doctor that everybody's body reacts different to the vaccinations.
Right.
And the boosters and stuff. And that is what, because I had a question for one of the doctors. I said, this person, a friend of mine, their sister passed, and they were a pharmacist and a scientist. And they took the vaccine, they passed away. I go, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, and this is what they're not saying, is that everybody's body reacts different to it.
And there were multiple vaccines, and some were one dose, 3 dose, 2 dose boosters. I don't know. It's just such a crazy time. So health-wise today, you look great. I mean,
I feel
you're good.
great.
Okay.
I mean, I had my tacos. I'm
good.
I mean, tacos heals everything, I think. And that's
what the doctor said. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
That's right. Take 2 of these carne asadas and let me know how you feel.
Shoot. I got you a water, by the way, right there. It's our craft services that we provide right there. We'll send the invoice later.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
At any rate, no, this is Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. Cleto Rodriguez joining us. To some of you coming on right now, good afternoon. I saw somebody was in Puerto Rico watching.
Oh, wow.
Which would be a cool place to be right now.
See, you get Puerto Rico on your fan base. Yeah. When I do my lives, I get poteet.
Poteet. Starts with a P.
And that's all I get.
Starts with a P.
I get shirts.
Shirts?
It's about it, really.
Listen, it's
and we get one Alabama.
One from Alabama. There's always one from Alabama. So, yes, Vilma Pagan Melendez is in Puerto Rico right now.
Nice.
So, there you have it. Again, share this if you can, please, on your social media. We love to grow the audience. And I know there are a lot of people who supported Cleto in his career over the years. And so, again, if you follow him on social media, which I would encourage you to do, you can see that I feel like it's weekly or every few days you've got a live show somewhere around town.
Yeah, it's weekly, Monday through Friday, and at 10 o'clock.
Well, that's a morning show you do.
That's a morning show, yeah.
I was talking about the stand-up stuff you do at night.
The stand-up, I've been every other Wednesday I do a stand-up at Mi Familia. We have a show tonight. If you want to go see, I'm headlining. If you're not doing anything, come on out.
Mi Familia?
Mi Familia tonight at 7:30
on I-10 and over there by the
rim at the rim.
Bass Pro Shop and all that over there,
right next to the Whataburger and the McDonald's, right in the middle, and got It's myself. Hosting is Gabe Farias, and we got Roman Garcia's doing a guest spot, and his two sons are my guest spots as well.
Really?
It's like it's Cleto and the Jackson 9. I mean, it's like we got Roman the Garcia 5. You know?
The Garcia 5. Oh my God, there will be dancing involved as well.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad health-wise that you're doing well and everything. I mean, could you write jokes about COVID or the pandemic after that?
Man,
did you?
I did actually. I wrote once I got down. Once I knew I was going to be okay, and it's a crazy story. It's interesting because the night it was the third night I was there, and I was just really fatigued. I mean, so the true story. The nurse, our first night there in ICU, I could hardly breathe, and I'm hearing crying in the hallway, and I'm like, "What's going on out there?" And I got this mask on, and I go, "What's this? What's going on? What's going on out there?" And he's like, "Oh man, this lady just lost her husband." Now the nurses in ICU have to be immune to the deaths that go in there because
Absolutely,
they just have to be. And this nurse, I asked her, I said, "What are the chances of me getting out of here?" And I kid you not, this is the way he answered me. About 50-50 maybe. You want to get more ice chips? I'm like, no, I want a banana split. If I'm going to go out, let's go out big. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that was a true statement.
Gosh.
So I didn't sleep for 2 days. And I'm literally, my eyes burn. I'm fatigued.
Like you couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep.
You could not sleep.
I was afraid to sleep because I was afraid I wasn't going to wake up.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was telling my wife, I'm giving her the speech, like, tell the kids I love them, I'll be with them the rest of their life, that kind of thing. She goes, no. My wife, let me tell you something, is a faithful woman. And
yes,
I'm telling you, that woman is the only one that knew I was walking out of that hospital. The only one I knew that was, she was like, don't talk to me like that. She's arguing with me. She goes, don't talk like that. That's not faith. I go, babe, I'm over here. You don't understand. I'm the one that I'm fighting here. She goes, look, I will hang up on you right now. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, she was like, I will hang up on you right now. And I said, okay, fine.
Because she couldn't be in the room with you.
She couldn't be. Well, she actually, they let her come in.
Yeah.
They let her come in one day. It was funny because they asked me, Mr. Rodriguez, would you like to have your wife come visit you inside here?
Crickets. I don't mean to laugh.
I said, no, I go, is there any other option? Like, can I pick another family member? Because I know she's going to kill me. Like, I can just see my wife come to my ear. I hope you get better because I'm going to kill you when you get out of here.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, oh, my God, all this drama you're causing. So I was like, so yeah, I did write jokes. I wrote I remember I was so fatigued I couldn't, I mean, this is kind of embarrassing. I couldn't, go to the restroom myself. I needed help.
Really?
And there's only been 3 women in my life that have ever wiped my backside. My mom, my wife, and now Melanie, Ernie. And guess who came over for Thanksgiving? And we bonded pretty tight.
Wow. Okay.
Move over, Grandma. We got a guest.
The visuals. My eyes.
My eyes. You should see my eyes.
Yeah, your eyes. Oh, gosh.
So, and not only that, but I mean, I talked about how they sent me home with this 100-foot of nasal cannula hose, right?
Really?
And
100 feet?
100. It seemed like 100 foot because I could walk around the whole house with it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I went to the yard sale 2 blocks down, and the kids were using the hose for piñatas and
oh my gosh,
double dutch and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, it's just like you just the jokes were just rolling as much as you can.
I can imagine. I mean, the fact that we came out of that time.
Yeah.
Just as crazy. And obviously, I mean, some of you may not even remember, we were on TV together for a while, and you did your Where's Cleto segments, which we were talking about those the other day. I don't remember how long you did them, but we were reminiscing about some of the classic moments from Where's Cleto.
Yeah, I did like 9, I think it was probably about 5 years with News 4. No, I'm sorry. It's probably 4 years with News 4 and 5 years with Fox.
Yeah. And what I told him that, and I watched you do hundreds of these. I don't even know how many. And the reality is I always felt a little bad for him because if you understand the morning news, this is the way we had it set up. You would go out to your restaurant or your place where you were going to be. We would toss to Cleto, time to find out where's Cleto. and you had maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes from start to finish to, like when I was telling you, when you're on stage doing stand-up, it's, what is it, setup,
set up
punchline or story, punchline, whatever, and it takes time.
Right.
You had to go in there probably 6 to 8 times a morning and deliver that laugh or whatever, that moment, in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, I had so many people come up to me out and about, and they're like, you should probably try stand-up. and I'm like, they did not know that was how I first got into it, was through my stand-up, and they were just trying to bring some humor to the television, with all the gloom and doom going on and stuff. And but it was apples and oranges, and a lot of people would come up to me, and they're like, I tell them to go and see my stand-up, and they're like, you're not even funny. I'm like, look, okay, stand-up and this thing I do on TV is totally different.
Two different things.
It's apples and oranges. Trust me. I go, come as my guest. If you're not pleased with your act, my act, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah. Okay. This is his agent calling right now. Yeah. So,
Jimmy.
Oh well, you might need to take that. I don't know. We're alive right now.
I'll grab it here in a minute.
So no, this is Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm, and again,
speaking of,
share. Our audience is growing here. We appreciate you sharing and everything. I was just gonna say. So. Yeah, we had a lot of fun together on TV, but I've said this, and you know this. I tried for many years. Doing stand-up was on my bucket list, like my life bucket list. Yeah. I wanted to do it. You asked me to do it a few times, and I said no, whatever. I probably made up an excuse once upon a time because I was petrified. I was And finally, one year before the pandemic, you got me out, and I did it. And to this day, it was one of the most exhilarating things I've ever done. TV, life, whatever. But also one of the scariest things. And I would always tell people, like, not to toot my own horn, I thought there were moments when I was funny on the morning news.
Mm-hmm. You're very funny.
But it's one thing to be funny, or be funny here, right now. It's one thing to be funny here, or like at work, or at the dinner table. But it's a way another thing to get up...
making strangers laugh.
...on a stage in front of a live audience for multiple minutes and do that.
That's where I'm at home. People always ask me, are you nervous when you're on stage? I said, I'm nervous off stage. I'm more nervous off stage. When I get on stage, I'm at home. That's my whole office right there. And I love it. I get to embrace it. Now I'm the old guy now.
Yeah.
The old comic. And it's interesting because a lot of these young guys, young comics coming up, you got male and female that are just kicking tail on the comedy scene. But when you did it, a lot of people would ask me when I was out and about, how's Ernie? Is he, how is he? Is he that serious?
Right.
He's funny.
Yeah.
He is really funny. And you were like, I remember we'd be at the station and I would get a kick out of some of the stuff that you would just come out with, and it was like these one-liners, these zingers that would just come out, and you're like, oh, that's hilarious, that's funny. And then I remember when you held your own pretty good when you had Steve on.
Steve Trevino,
on
another
the
comedian
show, and Steve's a good friend of ours.
Yes, he's a great guy,
very funny. To me, probably the funniest comedian in Texas. Between him and Juan Villarreal. Those two guys I hold in high regards. They're very, very funny. They're very, very... he's about as Texas as you can get.
Steve?
Oh, yeah.
He is such a good guy, too. And I know,
Very
and you do a lot for charity and nonprofit stuff. He and his wife, Renee, give back a lot to military.
Awesome, yeah.
And
Captain
Evil, yeah, like his wife. And she's embraced that title, and they do a lot of good stuff together and everything. So, but and that's the thing with comedians. I'm guess from where I've sat, I'm guessing there's some professional competition. But you guys, it seems to be a really tight knit group, and you guys help each other out.
Texas is different. California's like that because everybody's going down there to make it big and
be famous,
do their thing. Now it's a different beast. Now you got social media. You can do everything on your own, and people just you got YouTube. And TikTok stars trying to be comedians and comedians trying to be TikTok stars and
comedians trying to be game show hosts,
trying to get whatever. It's like yes, exactly, yeah. Steve Harvey, give a brother a break.
Yeah,
come on, throw a bone.
Drew Carey, we're right here. We're right here.
You got all these opportunities, if you will, and then you got opportunities to make your own thing now with social media. So it's a good and bad thing, but
Right.
it's definitely a different beast. But for me, I mean, all these different comedians and avenues that we have, we can just make it happen.
How often do people come up to you and say, "Hey, that highway's named after you. I drove on that highway here in San Antonio. Cleto Rodriguez, was it expressway or freeway?"
Yeah, freeway, yeah. A lot of people, they'll tell me, they'll ask me, is that named after you? And I tell them, yes. And but it's not. It's actually named after my grandfather, who was the Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, one of the first Mexican Americans to get it. And he was...
Harry Truman gave it to him, right?
Harry Truman.
It was Harry Truman gave it to him.
Harry Truman gave it to him. Matter of fact, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I found out the day he got his medal is the same day as Private Doss from Hacksaw Ridge got his medal.
No way!
Yep.
Okay.
He was sitting right behind him.
Get out of here.
We found documents that had him on there, and he's getting his, at the end of the movie, he's getting his medal from Truman as well.
That is unbelievable. So, I mean, I don't know how far your earliest memories of knowing you wanted to be a comedian, but was the military, like, did you ever feel pressure to get into the military just because your grandfather had such an amazing legacy and everything?
I told my grandfather I wanted to be in the Army, and he made me promise him I wouldn't go to the Army, but if I did join the military, it'd be Air Force.
Okay.
So I went to go take the Air Force test, and it just so happened it was the morning of the time my grandfather, he had a heart attack early that morning.
Oh, no.
And we left the hospital. He was in stable condition, and he was, so I went to go take the test, but I was thinking about him, and I failed it by one.
Did you really?
I failed it by one, but I was on a buddy system, so my buddy had to go because he passed.
Oh.
And I couldn't make it, so I was bummed. I was so bummed out, and I was like, wanting to take it again, but my grandfather had passed, and I just kind of everything kind of switched after that.
Yeah.
And then became went to a stand-up comedy club. I went to the comedy club at River Center.
Mm-hmm.
Walked in and saw this guy, and I had not known what I wanted to do.
How old were you?
I was 22.
Okay.
And I still was going to school, but taking basics and all this stuff, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I said, I went to the comedy club, and then I became a student of stand-up, became a student of comedy, and just said, this is what I want to do, and it stayed with me.
Do you remember who was headlining that night or who you saw?
I remember seeing Rick Gutierrez was the host, and I remember the headliner was some guy from Canada, Mike, I don't know why I want to say Dunleavy, but Mike Dunlop or something like that.
Okay,
I can't remember. And he was from Canada, and that's all I remember.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing these guys that this is what I want to do,
yeah.
And then became a student of stand-up and just would write, and I was a dirty, filthy comic when I started.
That's hard to believe, but I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, doing clean comedy, which you've done for many, many years, seems to me a lot more difficult than the dirty stuff.
Oh yeah, because you drop a few F-bombs and S-bombs and M-bombs and all that, and you're like just laughing at the word. You're not laughing at the joke. And
like the shock value.
The shock value, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, I remember I challenged myself to be clean, and next thing you know, I married a Christian woman, and she wasn't having any of that dirty stuff.
Oh.
And so I wind up cleaning my act and cleaning it up, and then next thing you know, I just started getting more work, started, getting blessed left and right, and I said, okay, this is going to work out. And sure enough, I wind up doing corporate shows because I was clean, and then I was doing college shows, then I started doing churches. And now I just go all over the place and do churches and corporate shows, and
there's definitely an appeal for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely, you got money, just kind of I mean, there's an audience. I'll give you a prime example. Yeah. 2 times in my life that the best compliments I ever got. Back then, River Center had a Saturday show. It was a 3:00 matinee show.
Okay.
It's what we call our barking show.
Okay.
We had to bark to get people to come in. Yeah. So come on, free. We're like a pimp in Tijuana. Come on, free. Come inside. And so there we were, and all of a sudden we're like, we got all these, we get nothing but Air Force guys coming in with their families.
Okay.
So we're there, and all of a sudden, this lady was one of the grandmothers of the cadets. Comes up to me after hearing all this vulgarity from these comics, and then I was the only clean one. She comes in, a little Jewish lady comes and grabs me by the, thank you very much for being clean for me. And I go, well, you're welcome, ma'am. And she goes, that I knew was that right then. I knew there was an audience for clean comedy, and sure enough, the second one was at Sunset Station. It was a Hispanic Heritage Month, and they were doing a big comedy show.
Right.
I was headlining. I had my friends in front of me. None of them were clean, and I was the only clean act on there. And I'm going to my merch table, and this drunk Mexican guy comes up to me and goes, hey, man, I've been waiting for you to say a bad word, eh? I go, well, did you laugh? De ventaste, almost peed in my pants. I go, well, then I did my job.
You did your job.
I did my job, and that was the 2 best compliments I ever had as far as being clean.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Fantastic stuff. A few more minutes here with Cleto Rodriguez here on Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. I'm so glad that you were able to do this. And in full disclosure, we met a few weeks ago because I mentioned you do a similar show, a daily show in the mornings where you set up. I guess you did one this morning. Yeah,
I did. I'm here at Pete's Taco House out there, and I every Monday through Friday a different location, different partner up there. Mondays I'm at like Mi Familia in the Rim. Tuesday a different McDonald's and Ned Stag locations. Pete's on Wednesday, and then Thursday Ladio's Diner, and then Friday at Pepe's Tacos and Salsa, and just kind of doing different things, and having different guests, and just kind of doing. And it all comes down to how to get to work, how to get some jobs,
generate some
how to get some income coming in, because Mama don't like lights off.
Yes.
Like if I hear that speech one more time, oh my gosh!
She prefers the lights on.
Yes, Mama likes security.
Good to know.
I hear that.
Well,
security's a good thing.
You and I both have kids, teenagers, and everything, and this just in, they cost money.
They sure do.
And so,
so we get that summer job. I told my son, "You're 16, right?"
Right. Yeah, right.
He's helping me produce.
No, seriously, it's good work if you can find it.
Got some child labor laws kicking in right over here.
My gosh. So before we wrap up, a long term, I know you've done specials. You've got specials out there on streaming, and you've checked a lot of boxes. What else? I mean, I mentioned bucket list earlier. Do you have any other things that you would like to get taken care of here?
You know what? I'm working right now on my 3rd comedy special. I got 2 of them right now on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Devil Get the Heck Out of Here, and Cleto is my real name, and if you could check those out, I appreciate it, because it's the royalties right now at $14.50, and I'm trying to up that a little bit more, and
pay that light bill.
Yeah. What are you at right now?
Huh?
How many viewers?
Well, we're at 50 viewers right now. Okay. We've been going up and down, but we're asking everybody to share this, and hopefully we'll get a few more when we're done.
Yeah, and
people go back and watch.
And again, I'm working on my 3rd special, and I might. I'm thinking of trying to come up with a new name for it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like where's Cleto? Where's Cleto's act? Something like that.
Where's Cleto? Yeah. So the Where's Cleto moniker, which you had at the TV station, obviously, it still lives. And
you use it. They let me keep it, which I was very surprised.
Good.
Very glad to hear. It's like I was gonna say, never mind. Name my 3rd special. Where's my wife's check? So. That kind of thing.
Keeping the lights on or something
like that. Keeping the lights on, yeah.
We'll leave the light on for you. Oh, wait, that's already been taken.
Yeah.
That's already been taken.
Congratulations to you on this. This is great.
Well, I'm trying. Listen,
awesome.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I took a page from the Cleto Rodriguez book here because I think, humbly that for those of us who have been in the public arena for a while, and I think we did some good things when we were on the air together. And let's face it, we've been through a lot of tough things in recent years. Horrific things that came out of the news and we had to talk about, and if we can add a little levity even on Facebook, we've been fortunate enough to get sponsors and people who believe in us and what we're doing, and I know you've got your sponsors as well, and we've been blessed in that way. So I guess, speaking of which, before I leave, I was at Texas Grounds yesterday. Texas Grounds, a coffee company in Helotes, and you're the first one here to get the honorary cream puff this is the legendary world famous cream puff from Texas Grounds.
Look at that.
And it took me everything. I had to threaten my children with violence if they touch this.
I love it.
So you take this with our compliments
I appreciate it.
from Texas Grounds, and you do whatever you want with it. But
and that's the thing I gotta tell you. You know, you do everything so, you know, with class. I mean, you do it. According to my wife,
yes,
she has been watching you, and you are, you know, you are the bar, my friend. Okay, this right here.
I don't know about that.
This right here. If she saw this, do you know how long of a lecture I would? You know how long of a ride that would be going home? She goes, look at this. This is all. Look, you got a clean car. I mean, this is nice.
Wow.
You got the goods, the works. You got a light.
I mean,
you got merch. You got pies. You got all kinds of stuff. I mean, you got props. You got everything. I got my kids over there mad, starving right now, and no, I'm just kidding. My wife says you need to be more professional. She saw your sponsorship page, and she looked at me and she goes, you know, I figured it out. Ernie's a mall. You are a pop-up market, my friend.
No!
She told me that. She goes, you understand, you need to be more professional like Ernie. And I'm like, Ernie, drop it down a notch.
Yes, please.
No, seriously, you're doing a great job, and I am like piggybacking off of you.
No.
So you see my sponsorship page, it looks like, I don't know why it has your face on there, but it's on there because it looks really good. I said, you know what? Guys, this is the Cleto sponsorship. It's just Ernie's logo.
No, get out of here. Well, listen, we have a passion for talking to people. I mean, as you know, there's so many stories in San Antonio. So many people with fascinating stories and just things. I learn something new every day. And so I said it when I left the morning news that day. I said, I'm going to find a way to find a camera. I got a microphone, a little bitty light here. Find some friends or interesting dynamic people, and we're just going to chat. And we didn't prepare anything. We're just chatting and letting people kind of eavesdrop on our chat and everything. So first and foremost, I'm glad that you are healthy, and I'm sorry that the cream puff might impact some of that today, but it's worth every calorie.
It's good. Trust me, I'm gonna eat really good here in a minute.
It's worth every calorie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do, sir, and for making us laugh for all these years. Here's to many more years of laughter. The one and only Cleto Rodriguez.
Thank you very much.
Tonight at Mi Familia?
Tonight, Mi Familia. Come on out, 7:30. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to try some new material about my family. I'm working, again, like I said, on my third special, and this is some of the stuff. It's talking about my cousin's wedding that it was no air condition. You don't want to miss this.
Wow. There you go. I like it. Little tease. Little
tease.
But tonight, Mi Familia there, I-10, there by, in the Rim, the Bass Pro Shop. Whataburger, you'll see it. But good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
All the best.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you soon. Another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. Don't forget, Gamez Law fights. We'll see you soon.